Why I wanted to talk about this topic is because I went to this comic book artist's talk, and I think he had one question, which was how to incorporate sustainable living and spiritual messages into your artwork. And his response was just to have an intention to do so. And if you have that intention, those sustainable messages and spiritual values will appear naturally in your work because your intention was true and it was there, and it shaped how the work uh, was realized. And it made me really think about the power of intentions because me myself in my art, I usually try to start with as much of a blank slate as possible, sort of just start and see where I go. But maybe I will experiment more with intentions. And of course, you need some sort of limitations, some kind of a form. And usually my intentions were based just on form, like, okay, I'm gonna make a 30-page comic book, or this work will have like many details, or I will complete this work today. So that's those sorts of intentions. But to think about what values should this work communicate, I always felt like it was kind of cheesy and maybe a bit like, who am I to tell what this work should be? But recently, yeah, I've been thinking about this and maybe I've got it wrong. And sure, some things come out when you have no intentions that you could not have foreseen and that are very, very interesting. But sometimes it's just a mess of random things, and meaning it's not that good, it's not that clear, it's not that precise. But whereas where you have a focused intention, your work will have as much power as you had in your intention. And that made me think really about how we set our intentions and how not to set our intentions. And what I've arrived at my thinking thus far is, in society, lots of our intentions are not our own. They are like propaganda. They are our parents' intentions, our community's intentions, our political leaders' intentions, and even like what you watch on YouTube. The algorithm feeds you certain types of content that you respond to, and you respond to those intentions of the values of that content. Meaning, and it changes really fast. Like, I remember that one time I realized that I was like, all of my algorithm is videos about I'm doing this wrong, or you should do this, you shouldn't do this, sort of this productivity, self-help type of content. And I realized that that content just made my head confused because I was just bombarded with information about what I should and should not do all the time. But maybe I was seeking that information. I don't know. It certainly is addicting to, or like captivating, where someone tells you, like, this is what you shouldn't do and why you shouldn't do it. And then whether you do it or not, it's up to you. Um, but yeah, thinking about intention, I think that it definitely should come from within. It should not be just the first thing that pops into your head and you go along with that. Like, because the first thing people come up with is just their worries and their immediate feelings like, am I hungry? Have I slept enough? Have I do I have enough money to survive? And this is actually the like content or information that people seek the most, is like how to make money, how to, optimize your diet or get the best exercise program, or these sleep hacks or products will help you sleep better and thus achieve all of your dreams or whatever. Because it's like everyone is dealing with these fundamental issues, but I think art has like so much more broader field where you can explore so many things, and it's endless actually. And maybe if you do the same old thing in a novel way, that's super cool and interesting, or you venture forth in this endless space which can be found in art, and you can find your own themes and your own characters that are actually alive within you, and your own genre and visual style and storytelling and voice. So that's my intention with art making, is just to explore and go where no one has ever been, and like uncover something within, and like in this space of ideas that is valuable and that will uh, evolve the artistic practice. But also with themes, like it changes. It I think it responds to what you need currently, like what you have not discovered but are about to discover. Like that should be your intention, to just go in that direction and not repeat what you already know, but just go a step further and step further and step further. And it's certainly an endless process, because there is no end to what is possible to discover, because we don't know. Like I just imagine that if I was on a path to discover or research something, and I thought, okay, I've reached the end of this knowledge, there is no further place where I can go, it's certainly just me who has either run out of energy or stopped seeking the answers to that field of knowledge. But maybe someone else will come out and think of something new, and like maybe continue that research project. And that's why I think books and art are so valuable, because maybe 200 years someone thought for their whole life about something and wrote it down in and formulated in a certain book, which now we can like read and continue based on our current like whole field of knowledge, but also our individual interests and understandings. And we don't have to spend our whole life uncovering what that person did already 200 years ago. So that's why, of course, education is important, and that's why people study and share things, is just to for the next generation and their own generation to arrive at like the present maximum of insight and awareness and knowledge. Having insight into something, it can only come through experience and through time spent and energy spent pursuing that insight. And that's where I think intention is important, because if you have a very clear, very powerful intention, you can get very clear and very powerful insights. And if you have a vague and not personal and sort of artificial intention that you are not very confident about, your insight will be the same as that intention, artificial, unconfident, and pretty much fake and useless, and it's like a cycle. I feel like it's a cycle that you can get stuck in, where you're like looking for answers in the wrong things. For example, if you have no money, but you keep going to the casino and hoping, or like buying the lottery and hoping you're gonna get money that way, it's like a pretty uh, unfruitful endeavor, because you're not going to get money that way. At least 99.9% of times of people, 99.9% of people are not going to get their money that way. So it's probably not going to be you, but you keep going and keep trying and keep chasing, and you can spend your whole life that way, just stuck in this loop cycle. It's really interesting. Like, it could be applied to everything, where you're chasing the wrong thing and it will fail no matter what. Like, you will achieve the result, but it will be the wrong result. Like, let's say you want to have a partner, but the partners you are attracting and the partner you are seeking is toxic and bad for you, and the relationship eventually fails. Well, if you don't introspect, don't think like, why did I choose that person, it's gonna happen again, just with different shapes and colors and name, but it will be the same thing, and you will go through the same process, just probably a bit faster. And so that's why it's important to have awareness of what you're doing, and just to pay attention to what's happening to you inside and outside throughout your life, and just to fix things, you have to have powerful, clear, and truthful intentions. And then when you go forward with that intention, it will be, the path will be different, and eventually you'll arrive at a future where that intention has been manifested. And only once it's manifested will you realize it. Oh, I set up this intention 5 years ago and forgot about it, but here I am, and it feels so easy, and it is complete. But you have another intention to go forward. So it's important to always have uh, new milestones, new intentions to go forward with and grow. Because in my opinion, and for for what I've heard and seen in the world, complacency is not the best of things, and you pretty much die when you become complacent and you're not learning anything new, because the cells literally in your brain, if you're not making them work, they're dying. There are no new connections in your brain if you're not learning something new, if you're not struggling with something challenging, if you're not going forward in life. Of course, I don't want it confused with self peace and tranquility and just calmness. That's not what I'm talking about, but I'm talking about giving up halfway through. And of course, if your intention is to have peace, tranquility, and calmness, and you've arrived there, it's beautiful. It's what everyone should strive for and should practice in their life, is just some moments of peace and tranquility and quiet. But yeah, those are my thoughts on setting intentions and why they matter.